headlines of this hour on VTV News. Party chief outlines tasks to lead Vietnam into its rising era. Vietnam and Bulgaria looking to take relations to new heights. In a world news, Russia moves towards aviation self-sufficiency.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It's currently 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie with the latest updates. Now, the 13th Central Party Committee convened its plenum in Hanoi on November the 25th to discuss many important issues, with Party General Secretary Tô Lâm in the chair. The Party General Secretary emphasized that the issue of streamlining the political system organizational structure has been addressed in several party congresses. He pointed out that while some initial results have been achieved, there is still much to be done as the organizational structure remains cumbersome. The decentralization and delegation of authority are not fully aligned, and the overall effectiveness and efficiency are not high. Therefore, he said, continuing the reform and reorganization of the political system is an urgent requirement in light of practical circumstances. According to the party chief, the Politburo has reached a strong political consensus to evaluate Resolution 18 comprehensively and early, providing a foundation for making bold decisions at the Party Central Committee to continue streamlining and improving the political system, starting with central agencies. The Party Central Secretary urged the Party Central Committee to reach high consensus across the political system and resolve to implement the restructuring of the political system to meet the goals and requirements of national development in the new era. Now, on Monday, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm delivered a speech to shed light on the new facets of a new era for the Vietnamese nation at a conference held at the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics. The event saw the participation of party and state leaders, members of the Central Committee, and the students of the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics.
The Party General Secretary outlined key foundations for the goal of leading the country into a new era. He emphasized the great achievements gained after 40 years of renewal under the party's leadership. He also said the world is undergoing a historic transformation from now until 2030. This will be a significant strategic opportunity for Vietnam to achieve its two 100-year strategic goals.
This is a very important time for the party's ideas to align with the people's hearts to lead the country forward. The goal of socialism requires comprehensive development of the economy and society. This is socialism. This is a moment when all factors converge to usher the country into a new era.
The party leader stressed the need to implement a digital transformation revolution to create new momentum for development.
Promoting digital transformation is essential, a global trend of the era, creating a new method of governance. As I have said, without digital literacy for the masses, it will be difficult to achieve Vietnam's goal. We must carry out a very strong revolution in digital transformation.
When discussing the strategic directions to lead the country into its rising era, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm highlighted improving the party's leadership, organizing a streamlined, strong, effective, and efficient apparatus, building a strong pool of officials, and focusing on economic development. He also stressed the importance of strengthening the party's role in building and perfecting the socialist rule of law state, promoting digital transformation, and combating wastefulness.
Vietnamese State President Luong Quang hosted a welcoming ceremony in Hanoi on Monday morning for Bulgarian President Rumen Radev. Both the leaders' spouses also attended the ceremony. The visiting president and his wife are on an official visit to Vietnam. Following the ceremony, the two leaders held talks at which they agreed on key directions and specific measures to further foster cooperation and elevate future relations between the two countries.
This is the first visit to Vietnam in 11 years by the President of Bulgaria, and also the first visit of President Rumen Radev to Vietnam in his capacity as the head of state of Bulgaria. It takes place at a time when the two nations are looking towards the 75th founding anniversary of diplomatic ties, aiming to further strengthen and enhance the traditional friendship and multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. During their talks, the two leaders agreed to continue increasing exchanges and visits at all levels, especially at the highest levels, through all party, state, government, and National Assembly channels, and people-to-people contacts. These exchanges would then result in consolidating mutual understandings and political trust that would lay a foundation for broader cooperation in various fields. Both sides agreed to bolster people-to-people exchanges to strengthen bonds and mutual understanding, as well as facilitating visa procedures for each other's citizens, and step up cooperation at the local level through trade, investment, and tourism promotional activities. Following the talks, the two leaders witnessed the exchange of several cooperation documents in the areas of education, economy, trade, and local collaboration.
We had a comprehensive discussion on the major directions, identifying measures to strengthen cooperation and elevate the relationship in the coming time. I firmly believe that the traditional friendship and multifaceted cooperation between Vietnam and Bulgaria will continue to grow stronger, meeting the sustainable development needs of each country.
We stressed the need to pay more attention to economic cooperation, and we look forward to positive outcomes from the upcoming business forum, and I, along with State President Luong Quang, will make every effort to maintain and develop the relationship between Vietnam and Bulgaria, as well as with the European Union.
During the meeting, President Rumen Radev also respectfully invited State President Luong Quang to visit Bulgaria, and the Vietnamese state leader gratefully accepted the invitation.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm received visiting Bulgarian President Rumen Radev in Hanoi on November the 25th. The party leader informed the guests of Vietnam's comprehensive accomplishments after nearly 40 years of reform and reaffirmed its foreign policy of independence, self-reliance, peace, friendship, cooperation and development, diversification and multilateralization of external relations. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm emphasized that Vietnam always attaches importance to strengthening its relations with traditional friends, including Bulgaria. He shared major directions and measures to elevate the traditional friendship between the two countries to a new height. These include enhancing comprehensive cooperation, particularly in areas where Bulgaria has strengths and Vietnam has needs, such as agriculture, industry, electronic engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, and space research. For its part, Bulgarian President Radev affirmed Bulgaria's appreciation for the long-standing traditional friendship with Vietnam, considering it a top partner in Southeast Asia. He also shared the view with Party General Secretary Tô Lâm about major measures to make bilateral cooperation more effective. Prime Minister Phie met with visiting Bulgarian President Rumen Radev in Hanoi on November the 25th, during which the host affirmed that Bulgaria is one of Vietnam's top priority partners in Central and Eastern Europe. Bulgarian President Radev agreed with Prime Minister Phie's proposal on 6 key areas of cooperation that the two countries need to strengthen in the coming times. It is necessary to enhance political trust through increasing delegation exchange, thereby promoting cooperation across various fields. Bulgaria continues supporting a stance of ASEAN and Vietnam on the East Sea based on respect for international law, particularly the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and the settlement of the disputes by peaceful measures. Both countries will boost trade and investment cooperation with the aim of raising bilateral trade turnover to $500 million in the coming time. In response to Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính proposal, Bulgarian President affirmed that he will advocate for the remaining EU countries to swiftly ratify the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement and support the European Commission in removing the yellow card warning against Vietnamese seafood exports to the EU market. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn met with Bulgarian President Rumen Radev in Hanoi on November the 25th, hailing the latter's ongoing official visit as a milestone in the relations between the two countries. Emphasizing Bulgaria's priority in strengthening cooperation with Vietnam, the Vietnamese leader said the two sides should enhance collaboration in areas such as economy, investment, science and technology, and education training. He hopes for Radev's continued assistance in creating favorable conditions for the Vietnamese people to live and integrate well with the host nation. The guest, for his part, affirmed that Bulgaria remains a reliable friend supporting Vietnam at regional and international forums, indicating Bulgaria's desire to welcome more Vietnamese people for study and work as well as investment in the country. Vietnam and Bulgaria have issued a joint statement affirming the commitments of their senior leaders to promote cooperation in areas where both sides have strengths and needs for the benefits of the two countries' people and for peace, stability, and sustainable development in each region and the world. The joint statement was issued on the occasion of the official visit to Vietnam from November the 24th to 28th. By President Rumen Radev, his spouse, and a high-ranking delegation of Bulgaria at the invitation of State President Lương Cường. Regarding political and diplomatic relations, the two sides were committed to develop mutually beneficial cooperation between the two countries based on mutual respect and trust, and coordinate well to organize the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations in 2025. They agreed to continue the exchange of delegations at all levels, specifically high-level ones, to demonstrate the leaders' political trust and determination, and at the same time create an important driving force to promote bilateral cooperation in many fields in line with the new situation. The two sides emphasized the importance of inter-parliamentary cooperation and support for the continued increase of meetings and cooperation through the implementation of the new cooperation agreement signed between the National Assemblies of Vietnam and Bulgaria in September 2023, enhancing the role of the Vietnam-Bulgaria Friendship Parliamentary Group. The two sides emphasized the importance of maintaining peace, stability, safety, and security based on international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea of 1982 and the principles of the United Nations. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính gave a reception in Hanoi on November 25th for Roger Eckhom, President and CEO of Ericson, who is paying a working visit to Vietnam, highlighting Ericsson's potential in terms of capital, technology, and advanced management. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said he believes that through the Vietnam visit, Eckhom will have in-depth and comprehensive assessments, serving as a basis for the company's future investment and business decisions. For its part, Eckhom emphasized that since 1993, Ericsson has been a key partner to Vietnamese telecom operators and supports Vietnam's 5G network development. He said his company wishes to join efforts to accelerate Vietnam's national digital transformation and research, develop new technologies and products in the countries. Speaking highly of Ericsson's development plans in Vietnam, specifically in providing solutions to digital infrastructure development in Vietnam, promoting national digital transformation, and building the e-government, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said Vietnam identifies digital transformation as an objective requirement, a strategic choice of top priority, and a new growth driver. Coming up next, prolonged rainfall causes damage in central Vietnam. And Quảng Ninh takes action against IUU fishing activities. Now, continuing the 8th session, the National Assembly on Monday afternoon discussed the draft amended law on advertising. Many deputies stressed the need to regulate and manage more strictly advertising on digital platforms and social media.
Many deputies stressed the need to regulate and manage more strictly advertising on digital platforms and social media.
We have not fully anticipated how online advertising will develop amid artificial intelligence and current technological advancements. We must also be mindful that as Vietnam deepens its global integration, it must effectively address issues pertaining to the potential loss of advertising revenue.
The new regulation, which allows for an increase in advertising space in newspapers and magazines, is also a topic that received various opinions from deputies.
The press is a revenue-generating industry, so the amount and extent of advertising in print media should be their right. If readers find too many ads in a newspaper, they may feel bored and boycott it. However, if it's within the reader's tolerance, then it's fine.
The difficulties faced by media agencies are not due to a lack of advertising space in print media, but rather because of the shortage of advertisements. It's like trying to solve the problem of an empty train by adding more carriages. I believe we should place our trust in our media professionals. Readers still place great trust in reputable and ethical products that serve the public and society.
The issues that still have differing opinions will be taken into account by the drafting committee and reported to the National Assembly at the next session.
Heavy rains in recent days have caused landslides and localized flooding across several provinces in central Vietnam. Thừa Thiên Huế experienced the heaviest rainfall, with some areas receiving up to 1,500 millimeters of rain.
The torrential rain has caused river levels to rise rapidly in Hương Trà town. Some roads have been submerged by nearly 1 meter of water, and many villages have been isolated.
The water has flooded our homes. We can only move around by boats.
Authorities have placed warning signs in areas prone to deep floods and swift currents, and traffic has been blocked in regions with a high risk of landslides. Emergency teams are conducting checks and monitoring vulnerable areas, ready to evacuate residents if necessary to prevent loss of life. In Quảng Nam, a landslide along National Route 4B caused trees and debris to spill onto the road. 133 households with nearly 500 people were evacuated to safety. In Nam Trà My district, a large amount of rocks and soil from the hillside behind the Rang Chuối school collapsed, damaging walls and spilling into classrooms. In Quảng Ngãi, several mountain roads have been blocked due to landslides. Heavy rainfall has caused the Trà Câu River to rise above the 3rd flood alert level, flooding nearly 100 homes along the riverbanks.
Combating illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing has become an urgent priority for local authorities, agencies and coastal communes. The Quảng Ninh Border Guard has implemented a series of coordinated, effective measures to address the problem.
In addition to intensifying inspections and cracking down on illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, the Quảng Ninh Border Guard is closely following directives from both the government and provincial authorities aimed at enhancing efforts to prevent overfishing. The Border Guard has also launched a variety of public awareness campaigns to educate local fishermen on regulations and promote voluntary compliance.
We have educated local residents on the importance of combating IUU fishing. Through these efforts, fishermen have been providing us with valuable information to help prevent illegal fishing and violations of regulations.
Through these outreach activities, the awareness and compliance of local fishermen have improved. They have become key allies of law enforcement in the fight against IUU fishing.
If everyone continues to engage in IUU fishing, our children and grandchildren will have nothing left to fish in the future.
We use traditional fishing methods, which are allowed by the state and ensure that the next generation can still benefit from the resources.
Efforts to combat illegal fishing, including overfishing, are part of a broader push to lift the yellow card issued by the European Commission against Vietnam's fishing industry. Alongside other enforcement agencies, the Quảng Ninh Border Guard will continue to strengthen inspections, monitoring, and the enforcement of penalties against violations.
A ceremony was held on Sunday night to celebrate the 15th anniversary of UNESCO's recognition of Bắc Ning's Quan Ho's folk songs as an intangible cultural heritage. The National Assembly's Vice Chair Nguyễn Thị Tang praised the province for its dedication and achievements in preserving and promoting these cultural treasures. She encouraged the province to continue following the party's directives and government's regulations while developing appropriate mechanisms and policies to support Quan Ho artists. She also asked the localities to expand efforts to teach this art form to younger generations and maintain Quan Ho club activities to promote heritage cultural spaces in the region. Coming up next, Russia moves towards aviation self-sufficiency. And Japan considers increasing nuclear energy share. Welcome back to VTV News. Russia's aviation industry has reached a significant milestone as it plans to conduct test flights of its MS-21 and SSJ-100 passenger jets in early 2025. Both aircraft are equipped with domestically produced engines, making them import-substituted. This marks the final step in Russia's efforts to achieve self-sufficiency in civil aviation, fully eliminating its reliance on Western suppliers. The Russian aviation sector is also pursuing a range of research and development projects to achieve autonomy in materials used in aircraft manufacturing. Japan is considering setting a long-term stable target of 20% for nuclear power in its energy mix by the 2040 fiscal year. By the 2030 fiscal year, nuclear energy's share could approach 20 to 22%. Achieving this goal will require doubling the number of operational nuclear reactors, driven by increased electricity demand from artificial intelligence and carbon reduction efforts. The Japanese government plans to encourage major utility companies to invest in nuclear plants as the project demands substantial financial investments. Global antibiotic usage has increased by 21% since 2016, sparking serious concerns over antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance is now responsible for approximately 5 million deaths worldwide each year. In the United States alone, around 2.8 million people are infected with drug-resistant bacteria, with 35,000 fatalities. Experts predict that global antibiotic consumption could reach 75.1 billion daily doses by 2030, further exacerbating the crisis. China's first suspended monorail line has become a major tourist attraction in the Optics Valley of Wuhan, Hubei province. The country is now the third to develop contactless transshipment technology in the railway sector, following Germany and Japan. More to follow.
The unique monorail system features track positioned on top, making the train appear as if it's suspended in the air. The fully automated train has a capacity of 222 passengers with a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. The train serves both as a mode of transport and as a sightseeing attraction, with a glass floor beneath and transparent windows providing a 270-degree panoramic view.
I really enjoy riding the train. It's very appealing to passengers. This is a fantastic idea.
This technology holds great promise for use in complex terrains, such as coastal areas, deserts, and icy regions, where constructing traditional railways can be challenging. It takes up minimal space on the ground, it's quick to construct, and is cost-effective.
Our primary goal is for the train to serve the tourism sector. We are collaborating with scientific and technological departments to expand this environmentally friendly transportation model.
The initial phase of the Wuhan Optics-Valley Sky Rail project is now in operation. Trains run every 10 minutes with full capacity during weekends and peak tourist seasons.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at 3 p.m. local time.